The Tao Te Ching is just 5,000 characters, yet it has been passed down for thousands of years. What is the Tao Te Ching really teaching? What has attracted so many people from all over the world, across the ages? Hello YouTube friends, the renowned status of the Tao Te Ching globally has made many of us fascinated and proud on one hand, yet also find it abstruse and difficult to understand on the other hand. So what exactly is the Tao Te Ching teaching? On this, I'd like to analyze it from 4 aspects. First, the Tao Te Ching teaches morality/virtue. Hearing this, you may be a bit disappointed. We all understand morality from a young age, constantly lectured by adults. You may feel bored hearing about it again. But think again why Laozi's teachings on morality are so captivating? Why have so many successful people from all over the world and throughout history highly praised this classic? It turns out that the morality Laozi discusses is worlds apart from the morality we're familiar with. It even conceals the greatest secrets of the universe, all things, and human life. Intrigued to know these secrets now? Typically we hear more about moral doctrines. But the morality Laozi expounds unveils a profound secret about the universe, all things, and human life. Many wonder where the universe and humans came from. Laozi helps us discover this secret. The universe, all things, including we humans ourselves, are created by a force called the Tao. The Tao is the ultimate source of the universe, all things, and us humans. The Western Bible says God created the universe and humans. But the Old Testament also says, in the beginning was the Tao is with God, and the Tao is God. Even if you don't fully comprehend this yet, you should understand that the ultimate secret behind the origins of the universe and humans is the Great Tao. The Great Tao gave birth to all things, and all things in turn became vessels and forms manifesting the Tao. The sages tell us that investigating things can lead to knowledge. By grasping the objective laws of all things, we can comprehend the existence and principles of the Great Tao. If we grasp these principles, it's like grasping the master key to realizing all things in the universe. Do you now understand why so many outstanding people across the globe and history have pursued realizing the Tao as their life's highest pursuit? Look at our reality. Why do we suffer? Why are we vexed? Why are we depressed? Why do we fail? The root cause is that we don't understand the principles. If we understood the overarching principles governing all things, our spiritual afflictions would dissipate like clouds. That is truly a blissful, perfect life. Are you also longing to study the Tao, cultivate the Tao, and realize the Tao now? In our life experiences, virtue is a word. But for Laozi, the Tao and virtue are 2 philosophical concepts with different meanings. I explained the Tao above, now let's discuss virtue. For virtue, we associate words like ethics, morality, goodness. But going deeper, where do these so-called virtues come from? And what use are they for us humans? In the Tao Te Ching, Laozi answers this question. The source that gave birth to all things and the laws hidden within all things is called the Tao. Knowing this source and understanding the laws of all things and acting according to these laws, that is having virtue. Externally, the Tao is objective laws. When the Tao enters our hearts and drives our actions, we have virtue. Violating objective laws will naturally bring punishment. That is having no Tao and no virtue. Hence, the Tao precedes virtue. The Tao is objective laws. Virtue is the human mind realizing the Tao. Therefore, the conclusion, having the Tao allows having virtue. Having no Tao means naturally having no virtue. At this point, people may wonder, do we currently have the Tao? If it's uncertain whether we have the Tao, then are our virtues genuine or false? This is the second theme from the Tao Te Ching I want to discuss with you, morality/virtue and our true nature. Even if we believe in certain so-called moral virtues in life, we often don't understand their origins and principles. So sometimes we encounter doubts or shaken beliefs. For instance, if a good person is bullied by bad people, we may lament how difficult it is to be a good person. If we're honest but get deceived, we may say honest people always get taken advantage of. Seeing bad people using underhanded means to get rich. The diligent person wonders what use there is in being good. Of course, after some time we also realize that even if bad people temporarily get rich or gain power, they ultimately fail. From this type of life phenomenon, we know that even if you consider yourself a good person, you may not actually understand the principles and realize the Tao. In that case, you likely won't act according to the principles, so naturally you won't be able to do things properly or succeed. In a word, self-proclaimed good people aren't necessarily Tao realizers. As for the bad people, they have already deviated from the righteous path of heaven and earth. Even if they grasp certain techniques, What they gain are not true benefits but offenses and debts. Failure is inevitable. What is there to envy? So the wicked stray from the path, while the good do not necessarily realize the Tao either. At this point, you may have clearly seen your own true nature and that of the wicked. You know that the only way to truly develop in a healthy way in life is to realize the Tao. Now some friends may be impatient to ask, how can we realize the Tao? This leads to the third theme I want to discuss from the Tao Te Ching. What is realizing the Tao? From the above explanations, we know the great Tao refers to external objective laws. Realizing the Tao means aligning our subjective cognition completely with these external objective laws. However, our subjective cognition doesn't operate this way. Our typical subjective mode is taking limited knowledge as truth, individual cognition as universal truth, finite experiences as eternal truths. This inevitably leads to error. When we ponder things, we definitely use our limited knowledge and experiences. When we speak, we definitely say, I think, in my view, expressing our own subjectivity. Humans pride themselves as an advanced animal species with highly developed brains and civilizations far beyond other animals. This makes us feel like we're at the top of the food chain, filled with pride and even arrogance. Yet in other scenarios facing natural phenomena like earthquakes or tsunamis, our human pride and arrogance gets completely shattered as we feel utterly insignificant. In reality, we all live within nature, but being immersed in it long-term, we often overlook its existence. For instance, we live in air, but do you constantly contemplate air? Most of the time we interact with other people. Those with power and experience often feel very powerful compared to weaker people, so they wield their means to suppress others, forgetting heavenly principles. After suffering some lessons, they reflect and realize man proposes, heaven disposes. We can only do our utmost according to destiny. After all that, what exactly is realizing the Tao? The Tao exists in objective phenomena. Realizing it means instilling the Tao's principles into our own hearts, unifying our subjective cognition with objective laws. Friends may ask, how do we unify them? Laozi tells us, first know and believe the Tao. Then empty your subjective biases, reach the utmost emptiness of reverence, stillness, purity, and tranquility. Allow your subjectivity to no longer interfere, then you may comprehend objective laws. Once a person knows objective laws and acts accordingly, their life endeavors will proceed smoothly towards happiness and success. At this point, don't you feel enticed by these 6 stages of knowing, believing, cultivating, realizing, practicing, and attaining the Tao, charting our life's course? Many friends may feel excited, as if they've grasped the keys to success in life. However, for people in reality, realizing the Tao is a lifelong pursuit that cannot be put down for a moment. As the doctrine of the mean states, the Tao cannot be left for an instant. If it could be left, it would not be the Tao. If we cultivate just for the utilitarian purpose of life success, we'll inevitably encounter even graver problems. Have you heard this saying before? Failure is the mother of success. Success is the father of failure. Does failure necessarily lead to success? First, this is a motivational phrase telling people not to be disheartened by failure. If you can learn lessons from failure and use it to realize greater Tao insights, then perhaps failure can sow seeds of success. But looking at the second half, how can success be the father of failure? Once someone succeeds, they easily stray from the Tao. This is the true meaning behind the saying that the higher one climbs, the harder one falls. It seems life is indeed difficult. Success itself is hard enough, but once successful, there are even graver dangers. What can be done? This leads to the fourth aspect of wisdom the Tao Te Ching imparts. Profound virtue is the greatest insurance in life. Although many successful people become failures, there are also evergreen trees among them. How did they manage this? If someone single-mindedly pursues success without understanding the secrets of failure, then the success they seek may actually be a path towards failure. Doesn't this sound frightening? Let's look at how these evergreen successful people operate. Although occupying lofty, powerful positions, they respect others, treat subordinates kindly, and have compassion for the weak. If you see a successful person who no longer respects others, treats subordinates harshly, and even scorns the weak, then they may already be on a path towards failure. Some may say, I'm not yet successful, so what should I do? In fact, respecting and learning from others, treating people kindly as friends, having compassion for the weak as a family, these are the spiritual genes of those successful people. Those successful individuals with immense wealth are still willing to provide for all, using their money to aid those in need rather than indulging in debauchery. Connecting their lives to countless others, Although wealthy, they are not crushed by riches. People often say, when the people's hearts to win all under heaven, but there is an even more important aspect. That is, to not let your state deviate from a normal mentality, to not let power, money, and fame crush your spirit. If you become agitated by these, then you no longer need other enemies. So the evergreen trees among the successful constantly see themselves as their own enemies to be conquered. They are those who ultimately triumph over themselves, winning the victory of spirit over matter. They are the wise who effectively control arrogance. In Laozi's philosophy, no matter what is gained or encountered, their core remains unchanged, never becoming slaves to power, success, glory, or wealth. This is what Lao Tzu called profound virtue. The more successful, the more humble and modest; the wealthier, the simpler and more compassionate; the more honored, the calmer and more self-aware; the higher the position, the more reverent and disciplined; the more praised, the more self-reflecting and correcting. See, without this sophisticated ethical spiritual logic, most who succeed will eventually fail. But if we plant these higher spiritual programs in our hearts while pursuing success, we will be invincible and undefeated, the evergreen trees of success in life. Hence, profound virtue is a precious talisman guiding us to success, and the most vital insurance once successful. Through these four aspects of interpretation, have you grasped the essence and core of Lao Tzu's supreme Tao Te Ching teachings? Are you secretly resolving, I must diligently study, cultivate, and realize the Tao? If so, I bless you, my Tao friend. Let us together study the Tao Te Ching and open the door of life's wisdom.